flashy blows. For me, £25. Dumpy, short mirror. We're on lake number 4 of the trip. Right guys, welcome back to another Red Rose angling episode. This time we're back out in France on a public lakes road trip. We did do a trip September last year which was a complete and utter washout. Wasn't anything to document or record from that other than a barrage of big catfish and 2 small carp, which is not the one. This time we're going to a different region of France. We're going to be heading much more down towards the central areas this time. We got here a day early, so yesterday we sacrificed a whole day to go and check out a load of other lakes that we had pinned on maps and places of interest. So we went around 4 different lakes and we also walked up 2 kilometres of canal. We didn't see any sign of carp or anything of interest enough to make us stop and fish at any of those places. So we arrived here yesterday evening. We've done quite a lot of research on this place. There's 2 waters. There's the one behind me there, and there's another water which is just over the other side of the causeway, which is probably double or triple the size of this one. Both of them are alleged to have large carp in them, and the one that we're fishing here, this is smaller of the 2. Originally I started off fishing in the far corner, and there's a big weed bed here. This is the shallow half of the lake, and then it goes on to the deeper side of the lake is further towards the far bank. So Matt set up and was fishing into the sort of weedy shallow bit, and I went with the mindset that the fish might push out and move into the deeper water in the hours of darkness, and I went to his left. Unfortunately there was a French angler who tipped up this morning and decided the whole lake was available. It was only me and Matt here, and he decided to go right in next to me next door, which sort of made my decision to move quite easy. So I've now moved around to the other side of the lake, and I'm fishing the other side of the weed beds where Matt was fishing, because early this morning it was only a small one, but Matt had a fish which got us off the mark for the trip. Putting up a bit of a spirited scrap down in this margin. She goes. Little mirror for the first day. Yes! What a great start. Friday morning, first morning in France. 6 o'clock wake up call, absolute one toner, which nearly had the rod in, so I'm going to have to think about that today. But anyway, jaggy scrap. I actually thought it might have been a grassy when I first hooked it. But anyway, want to get off the mark. Little £15 mirror. How's that? Not bad. Gets us off the mark, doesn't it? Yeah. It's a fish. At least they can only get bigger, mate. Yeah, my spot's working, so at least I know that. Happy days. So that fish he caught was sort of a £15, looked like a male fish, heavily spawned out. but obviously it does confirm that there is still carp in this lake. And I spoke to the Garde de Pêche who came round, and the chap from the Garde de Pêche reckons that the fish in here go up to 30 kilos or close to 30 kilos, which is an absolutely amazing fish. But at the moment we're really struggling to see signs of fish at all. I've seen 2 small commons which have been moving in this margin area, and absolutely nothing else around the lake really. And whenever you do see a show and get excited, it's usually one of these black bass or the brochet that keep jumping out. I'm not actually seeing many confirmed signs of carp, but there is a lot of fish bubbling up in and around this weed and hiding under the weed beds potentially, so we've got chance of a bite tonight. This particular spot that I've moved to is I'm up on a higher bank here, and from this bank I've got a much better view out over the lake, and on this shallow side the weed is up to the surface pretty much all over, and I've had to work hard to find a couple of drops. Now there's a spot off to my right which I've managed to fit 2 rods on, which is really clear, and then a spot sort of straight across in between 2 weed beds. There's a little bit of a channel and I can just fit 1 rod on there, so the idea being that if they're moving in between those weed beds I've got a chance of snaring one. So we're going to give it tonight in here. We'll see how we get on, and if nothing's happened by early doors tomorrow we'll probably move and go and check out the big lake.
So look at that fish sheeting up there over Matt. Been doing it for about half an hour. Look at it. Just out of nowhere, big thunderstorms just rolled in.
Guys, good morning, and I'm pleased to report it's good news. I've just also had my first fish of the trip now, so we're off the mark. Matt's on his way around to do some photos. We probably are going to be moving on today, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a while. For now, let's have a look at this fish. Right, well, we're off the mark for the trip. They always say the first one's the hardest one. So I was up in the night a couple of times with a couple of tench, and then just before first light I was rewarded with this one, which is a 23-pound common on the long shank nailer hook. Absolutely epic scrap, in and out of all the weed beds, and I think we're probably going to be moving on today, but we've had a good little result both coming on here and catching one, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that later on. But for now, let's have a look at this character. Got quite a bit of his dorsal missing and some little withered fins and a crinkly old tail. What's a cool one. Let's slip her back. There we go. Etta Alifaki, Stephen Gerrard. See you soon.
Anna El Etifaki, see you soon.
There she goes. Yes! We've got all that excitement out of the way with the fish. Thought I'd give you a quick update on what the plan is. So very brief version of events. I met a chap on here yesterday called Julian, who's a French angler. He spoke absolutely fantastic English. He's one of the first people I've met on these trips for a while that can speak English that well. We're able to have a full conversation, and his phone was dying. He had no power bank with him, so I lent him my power bank, gave him a bit of charge, and he's not fished on here for a couple of years, and you're not allowed to use boats on here now. And he brought a load of bait with him that he wanted to put out. So I let him use my bait boat, went round to swim, drove it out, dropped all of his bait for him. And he told me about a lake which him and 4 of his mates have just got the lease on last January. It's about 30 minutes from here. It's 43 acres. Now, the lake itself has been used in the past as a fishery. So there's a bit of an original stock in there, many of which are still not being caught. They took over it in January, and prior to that, somebody who was a friend of theirs stocked a load of fish into it from a fish farmer that was sort of 5 or 6 kilograms, which is, you know, sort of C4 double figure carp. And they've put on quite a lot of weight over the last few years. he was saying to me that they opened it up as a pay lake earlier this year for like British holiday makers, but they're not getting any bookings whatsoever. There's nobody booked on. The 43 acres is completely empty, and he said that if me and Matt go on there, make a few videos, get some nice pictures of the place, all he wants is a pack of beers for us to go on there. It's Saturday today. This lake's already starting to get busy. There's 4 or 5 anglers on here, which is about 7 acres, so it's starting to get busy. The lake over the back, I've just seen 2 people tip up in a van. They've gone on the back lake, and I just think we've not really got anything to lose. So it just shows you guys, it pays to be nice to people. If I hadn't have been nice to that guy, if I'd just sat in my bivvy and not given him the time of day, we'd never found out about this place. And me and Matt are both of the opinion that wherever we go now is going to be busy for the weekend, it's going to be stitched up. We've got 43 acres to ourselves. A lot of fishing there are unknown, they still haven't been caught. It's worth mentioning that this lake that we're fishing on at the moment, I spoke to the Garde de Pêche yesterday, and I've spoke to a French angler who's just fishing around the bank, both of which using Google Translate, and the chap from the Garde de Pêche reckons that this lake we're on at the moment has only got 22 known fish in it total, which the lake's maybe 7 or 8 acres, so it's an incredibly low stock of fish. The lake behind this one is at least double this size, so 15 acres, and the Garde de Pêche reckons there's only 51 fish in the back lake. I referenced that with the French angler who's just round the bank there. He says that he thinks there's 30 fish in this one and 60 fish in the back one, so either way they're both very, very low stock. The fact that me and Matt have dropped on here for less than 36 hours and we've both had one each, I think is an absolute touch and a stroke of luck, and we'll both take that. Even if they are small fish, we could quite easily lose 4 or 5 days fishing on these two and not even have a take or not have a chance of catching one, so we're both absolutely chuffed to bits with that. What is apparent is that this smaller lake has got a fish in it that goes over 30 kilos, and that's why everybody's here. Everybody who's local fishing this are just chasing that 66 pounder. It's not been caught for a while as well, so God knows that could even be going over 70 pound. And that's why everybody's here. And if I live local to it, I'd be here chasing that 66 pounder as well. Not going to be greedy. We're going to take that fish each, get that little bit of confidence from it, see if it can give us a little bit of momentum, and move on to the next place.
Ready? Hey, I got you.
I'm
Look
on
at
the
that.
road.
Here's your face. Yes, mate. Let's go.
Right guys, we've arrived at the lake that Julian recommended to us, who I met on the public water yesterday. We arrived maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He had his friend Patrice with him who runs the lake, and of course we didn't have a proper look round. It's a big old bit of water, it looks bigger than 43 acres, and we set up in the middle. And this is something I do quite often on big lakes. If you don't know where they are, just go in the middle where you've got a good view and you can constantly be looking around to see if you can locate some fish. We ended up having quite a few beers with Julian and his friend and a bit of a barbecue, and about 10:30 in the evening yesterday we noticed quite a lot of fish right down the far end of the lake. There's like a corner and it's quite tree lined, and we noticed quite a few fish showing down there, so we wandered down yesterday, and just before we lost some light we both went stalking down there with a rod each. Didn't catch anything but saw quite a few fish. We woke up at first light this morning. Matthew's been down that end and the fish are still down there. As you can see from the weather, it's absolutely chucking it down, and we've got thunderstorms forecast all day today, so we're going to get absolutely soaked. But the plan is to get all the gear down into that corner and see if we can get on a few fish and see if we can catch some from what is an amazing lake. First part of a very wet pack down done. Now we're going to drive around to the other side of the lake. Matt's already set off, he's gone in the boat and he's towing all his gear behind him in a dinghy. He must be absolutely mad to be doing this, but if that's where the fish are, that's where we need to be, isn't it? So get round to the swim and then I'll update you when we get there. Excuse me, mate. Have you ordered Just Eat?
Saw two within 5 minutes of being here.
Did you?
Your side.
So I'm going to fish, when he refers to my side, I'm going to go over there. And all the fish that we've been seeing are right down in this corner bay. So we've had to move on them, even though it's been a very wet, horrendous pack down. And it's going to be a wet setup as well, but effort equals reward sometimes. Sheep are out today. Thinking they're getting fed. Well, we must be absolutely mental because we've packed down in the middle of a thunderstorm and moved because we've seen fish down this end. We saw them first thing last night. Sorry, we saw them the last thing before dark last night. We've seen them the first thing this morning and they're all down this end of the lake. So we're right in the corner. Oh, little rabbit there. Matt's gone on one side of the lake and then I'm just driving around to the other side now, so I'm going to fish on the other side. Effort equals reward, I guess. So this is where I've ended up. They've all been in here, sort of along that tree line, and a few out in open water as well. Matt's towed all his gear in the boat with the dinghy behind. He's going in there. I'm going to bivvy up here. Treacherous conditions, but when you're on a 43-acre lake and you're seeing fish, you've got to go where you're seeing them. We fished through the night yesterday. You can't see, but past those bushes over there, and we've not seen anything there the whole time we've been here, not even seen a show. And then we probably saw half a dozen fish in here jumping out the water last night, and we've seen another 3 or 4 this morning. So this is where we need to be.
We didn't have a bite. This is the only place we've seen fish show, so I've packed up this morning. Pissed down rain, by the way. I'm absolutely soaked. Thrown everything into the Seahawk and towed it down the lake. And we're now here. Alex is going in that peg opposite. I feel like I've got much more of a chance down here.
Right guys, now we've got a little bit of a break in the weather. I'll give you a quick update. So it's 4:30 in the afternoon now. We've finally got everything all the way down to this end of the pit. Now this is the area where we saw fish showing last night. Matt was wanting to move down here at 11 PM last night, but we'd committed quite a lot of bait into open water, so the plan was just to ride it out last night in open water and see whether anything came over our bait, whether we picked up any fish, and if not, to come back down here at first light and see whether or not we could see anything showing. Matt is just over my shoulder there, so he's fishing directly opposite me. And for now, I've got 2 rods tucked up against the tree line and 1 rod out into open water. We have seen a couple of fish show this afternoon while I've been sat here as well. They're not going mad, there's not many, and I have heard a couple showing off to my right. But when you're on a lake this size, just being in the area of where you've seen fish show, immediately your confidence just goes up here. And I'm so much happier now being at this end of the lake and knowing that I'm going to be somewhere near fish, that I just feel much more confident, and I know Matt does as well. As you can probably hear behind me, the conditions for filming today have been absolutely horrendous. Brilliant fishing conditions, big winds, chucking it down a rain, big thunder showers in between. Mega for fishing, but just not great for filming. Even if I don't catch anything, it's absolutely stunning, and it's been a mega place for us to come and visit. The cherry on top now will be if one of us can just winkle a fish out of here, it would be absolutely brilliant. So I'm keeping everything crossed that we do, but even if we don't catch anything from here, I'm so glad that we took Julian up on his offer to come down here and do a bit of fishing. I could spend a week on here. It's such a beautiful lake and it's so big, so many options of places to move to. So hopefully the next time you see me now will be when I'm holding up a massive fish out of this lake, fingers crossed, eh?
Okay. Just moved swims this morning. Took the boat, filled up the other boat, towed it all the way down this end of the lake. Been fishing maybe 3 or 4 hours. Middle rod screamed off, and to my surprise, and the first ever for me, a grass carp. It's not what we're after. It's not the 20 kilo carp that Julien promised us, but
Yeah, but it's a start.
it's a start.
Right, well, nothing happened last night, despite being really confident. Late in the afternoon yesterday, Matt had a couple of bites in really quick succession. One of them was an 18-pound common, really nice fish. And one of them was a grass carp of about the same weight, sort of 18-pound, which isn't really what we came for. So we've got another place that we want to try, and it's about 5.5 hours away from here in the car. So time is of the essence. We're going to get packed up and get away, get on the road and head down a lot more south than where we are now. Been a great experience coming on here. I'm glad we gave it a go. We didn't catch the 20 kilo carp that Julien said was in here, but there's always next time, so we'll get back on the road and we'll catch up with you when we get to the next place.
Well, the rods have only been in the water about 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, I've just put 20 spoms out, 3 rods onto the spot, fishing Oxford, except in France.
We're in central France and we're fishing Oxford, and the rod's gone straight away.
This has gone well.
Might have to get him water. Give it some. Give it a bit of teddy. Is it in it?
Well, no sooner have I just slipped mine into the net,
The same thing for me.
and Matthew's got one.
Might need you aiding.
Gone under the trees again. They fucking know what they're doing, don't they, in here? Don't pull it if it's on a branch, because you'll get cut off.
It's just there.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's come through.
Yeah, it's alright, I've coaxed it. Give it some fucking teddy. Oh.
She's out.
I definitely need to be getting them legs.
Yeah, they need to be there, because every fisher's going to do that. So Matt's doing the same, 3 rods, out to a spot, spodding it up. Oh, it's a mirror.
Yeah.
Well, that's been said before as well, hasn't it?
Not one regarding me and you.
I told you to hook. Give it some fucking teddy. Here she comes. This is the one. She's mine. 3, 2, 1. Get in that net. Bosh.
Le bosh.
Le bosh. Give us a little celebration, Matt, to the cam, please. Celebration, please. Excellent.
The shearer celebration I'll go for.
Right, well, we've drove 6 hours to to a new lake and we've both had a fish already. This is a very spawned out, possibly a male, it's quite rough to the touch. And this was the first bite after nearly. And this was the first bite after putting out 20 spods. And Matt had one shortly afterwards, so just for the record, he went 21 pounds. So we could just do with him being
About £10 heavy.
we could just do with him being about 20 pound heavier, so 41 pounds would be a bit better. But first fish from a new lake, so he's worthy of a quick minute in front of the camera. Slip this one back and hopefully we'll catch some more.
Okay, first fish. Rods haven't been out long, there must be clearly a good head of fish in here. Hopefully we can get a few more. A bit bigger maybe though. Good times.
Right, second fish in quick succession, this time getting a little bit bigger. 25 pound common. Again, coming out in open water, 3 rods tight to a spot, spodding over the top of it just like you would do in England. And I think that these fish very rarely get caught. We're the only people here in 6 hectares, which is about 15 acres I think. Nobody else fishing. And these fish are having it at the moment, so. Really long fish, and they're all really spawned out as well, so I bet if you came here before they spawned, quite a lot of these sort of fish would be getting up for the £30 mark. But we'll slip this one back, we'll get some more bait out and see if we can catch any. Okay, just get that up a bit better.
Just a minute, wait.
Threatened a thunderstorm, I could hear it rolling in the background but it didn't quite come over us. Put a bit more bait out, and my biggest one of this little mini session has come along at 22 pounds. Proper old wrinkly gnarly one. You're away. You're away. Well, good morning guys. It's become quite apparent that there's a hell of a lot of hungry fish in this particular lake. Still nobody here fishing apart from me and Matt, so we've decided for a little bit of banter we're going to have a little match today. So the system is anything that's a carp is 3 points, anything over £20 is 5 points, and anything over £25 is going to be 10 points. If you catch any other species that's not a carp, pike, perch, whatever it is, that's 1 point. So this one's not going to be getting near the £20 mark, so he's 3 points for me. We'll slip this one back and we'll go spot it up. If it'll behave. Pretty cool little fully scaled. Not going to weigh it, but it's 3 points on the board definitely. That's quite a cool little fish. You don't get many of them over here. And as I'm talking, one of Matt's rods is away again, so I'm going to go back down to his peg and see what he's got hanging on the end. Happy days, this is good times. We're having a lot of fun at this particular lake. It's been non-stop action, which is not something we want to do for the whole trip, but for the odd night it's definitely a good bit of fun. Right, the first big fish of the match. Matt's currently leading 9-6 before this fish. This fish gives me 10 points because it's £26.4, the biggest one of the session so far. Again, another common, seems to be getting loads of commons at the moment. So this one now makes the scores 16-9 and gives us hope that there's possibly 1 or 2 hidden gems in this little water. There's So we'll slip this one back, put a couple of the still images up that Matt's taken, and then see if we can get another one. The fight from these fish is just absolutely epic. The oxygen content in here must be through the roof because they really do ruck. And this is a real cool thick set common with a huge head, really thick wrist on his tail. Mega.
Well done, mate.
Right, so as you can see the rods are now skipped in. We're coming to the end of our little mini session on this particular water. And I have to say it's been absolutely ridiculous fishing. We've both lost count of how many fish we've caught. It's a 15-acre lake. I say lake, it's a barrage. So down this end you've got the dam where the water's flowing out and the water flows in at the top end. And it's just over 15 acres in size. And the amount of fish that we've caught in just over 24 hours is absolutely ludicrous, and both of us didn't fish last night. We reeled in so that we could have a good night's sleep. There must be countless 20-pound fish in this lake. The biggest fish we've had is 26, so they are on the small side. We've got 2 other lakes that we want to try before the end of this trip. We've got 4 days left, so we're definitely going to be moving on now. But we've had good fun on here, and this is definitely going to be one of those places to watch, because in the future all the amount of 20-pound fish and sort of 25-pound fish that are in here, sort of 10 years time, those fish are getting on for sort of 35-40 pound, which is more than achievable, especially in these conditions. I know they're not properly fed like they are in the UK, so you've got to take that into account with the growth rates, but this could end up being a cracking little place, so definitely one that we're going to be keeping pinned and keeping an eye on, just in case these fish do start to grow. But for now we're going to get everything wrapped up, get back to the car, and then go on to the next lake, and I'll probably catch up with you when I see you there. So we've arrived at lake number 4 of the trip. Again, not a single person here except us. This one is 10 hectares, which I think, quick maths, is something like 22-23 acres. Nobody here at all. Just gonna have a quick walk around and see what we can see. Well, we're on lake number 4 of the trip, and this one is possibly the most beautiful one yet. We've got very limited information about this lake. We don't know what's in here really. We know there's carp in here, but it's absolutely incredible. It's 24 acres in total. There's only me, Matt, and 1 other carp fisherman on at the moment. It's another barrage, so we've got a dam end where the water flows out and an inflow, and it's right in the middle of a natural forest. We've had to come off the roads and then probably another 2 or 3 kilometres just down a track to get to this lake. There's a big out of bounds section right down the far end. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. Right down that far corner there is out of bounds, and then the lake continues around. I have to be quick so I don't want to get the camera wet. Right around that corner there where you can see Matt. But it's absolutely mega. And the sunrise here tomorrow morning is going to be something else. We've got no idea how big the fish go to, so it's going to be a bit of a surprise really. But there is somebody else on here carp fishing who's a French angler, which is always a good sign. We've got plans to visit 2 more places before the trip ends after this one, so obviously they're all subject to change depending upon what happens. So for now I'm going to kick back, going to have something to eat, going to have a couple of beers, and maybe be back shortly to film some of this massive thunderstorm which is heading our way. It could be absolutely biblical, and if it does I'll get some footage. Alright guys, speak to you soon. Well, we're right in the middle of that rainstorm we just talked about, and I've had my first fish on the right-hander. It's just sat in the net there. looking to the left, looks like some brighter skies are approaching, so wait for a little break in the weather, get the rod back out. It's also picked up the middle rod, so I need to redo that, and then we'll have a look at what we've got. It's not massive, but it's the first fish from a new lake, which is always nice. At least we know there's carp in here. Right, well, over my shoulder is the new lake in the background, and this is the first fish of the session, an 18-pound 6 common. Not the monster we came for, but it proves that there's carp in this lake, which we knew very little about, and it gets us off the mark for the session. Hopefully we can build on this and get among a few more. It's a really nice common actually, mint condition, probably a 20 before it spawned, as Matt said before. It's got some really unusual markings on the top of its dorsal there, where the scales have all sort of gone mismatching out of line. Anyway, we'll get that one put back, and hopefully we've got a few more. Marhaba, Anna, Alex Sheldon, Anna, Al Eti Spoddy Rocky. See you soon.
See you soon.
Testy testy, loosey loosey, straighty straighty. See you soon. Too powerful. 20 rappy. Marhaba. Right, so we've had a very hectic night last night on the new venue. This is venue number 4 of the trip. We had a massive thunderstorm coming in, lightning, rain. It was absolutely biblical, and because of that I've not been able to get the camera out or do any filming. It was just absolutely hammered it down. We've had a big electrical storm, and that's brought the fish on the feed. So I've got quite a few fish to show you this morning, so I'll start with these two. First one. Very angry little mirror. I'll show you the other side. I've not weighed this one, but I would guess it's somewhere between 15 and 17 pounds. Absolutely pristine condition, and I've not had many mirrors this trip. I've been catching mainly commons. Right, I'll show you the other one that's been going crazy. Don't think he's going to give me an easy ride. This one's slightly bigger, slightly thicker in shape. Right. This one just will not behave. This is the second fish. This one's slightly bigger than the first. I guess upper teens for this one. And these fish in here, just like the last place, they absolutely rock. I think these big shallow barrages like this are just so rich with oxygen that the fish are just absolutely full of energy, and they give you an unbelievable scrap. And then even after they've given you a big scrap, you get them on the mat and they're still full of it on the mat, like this one is now. Almost identical looking to the last fish, but this one's a little bit more slate grey in colour. Definitely the same strain. Cool one. So I'll slip this one back, and I've still got a couple more to show you. I've got no rods in the water at the moment.
Recording.
Right, this is fish number 3 of the evening, and there's one still in the mat. This one possibly upper teen again. I put it somewhere between 17 18 pound. Immaculate condition again. Look at how long the barbules are on it. Again, very lightly scaled. Definitely a similar strain to the others. And that's 3 mirrors in a row now. I'm not going to weigh it, we'll get a slip back in a second. And I won't show you the other side because it's pretty much identical to this side. But we've got a bigger one in the net, which is going to be the first 30 of the trip. I'll slip this one back and then we'll show you that next. Let's go for it. I'm going?
Yeah.
There she blows! First 30 of the trip. This one going 33 pounds, 4 ounces. This is getting more like it now. Me and Matt get among a few of these and hopefully try and build something for these bigger fish. We've caught loads of fish this trip, but we're catching so many small ones, it's nice to get something a bit bigger. This is an absolute pig of a mirror. Really beat me up as well. Wasn't for coming in easily. I had to get in the water in my shorts. Got wet over my waist because it got into the branches in the edge and I had to free it, but definitely worth it. I'll show you the other side. There we go. Very similar to the first side, this one. Look at the size of that tail. This fish is an absolute breeze block. And it really did beat me up. It's solid to feel. The condition of the fish in here are just absolutely out of this world. There's not many people fishing, so there must be lots of natural food in here. There's 2 guys turned up who fished further down the bank from us. And to be honest, I think they've been more interested in partying than they have fishing. As there was music playing and giggling and laughing till about 3 AM and they've got a load of girls with them, but who can blame them, eh? Right, I'll do some stills of this and then we'll see if we can get some footage of me slipping aback. Marhaba. Anna, Stephen Gerard. Anna Al Etifaki. See you soon. See you soon.
Marhaba, Anna, Stephen Gerard. Anna El Etifaki. See you soon.
Yeah, of course.
Go on.
Good times.
Morning. Second fish on this lake. Biggest one. 16 pounds. Well, the one was smaller than this, so I just slipped it back. Alex has had a few bites, so hopefully we can get a few more on the cars today.
Happy days, mate.
Lovely. Okay, second fish of the morning. Biggest of the trip so far for me at 25 pounds. Dumpy, short mirror. A lot different to Alex's, it was much longer. I think if this was a longer fish, it would push towards 30.
I think that'll end up being a very big fish.
Let's see if we can get any more.
Mega, mate, well done. Yeah.
Anna Al Etifaki. Anna Stephen Gerard. See you soon.
See you soon. See you soon.
Oh, you couldn't.
That's what you get.
Look at that.
Oh my lord. Where's the scale?
2-0 in here. Just letting it rest because they go absolutely mental. We've got a live weigh in here, guys.
I'm saying low 20.
Let's read the scores on the doors. It's hovering around the 24 mark.
Oh. Not bad, not bad. Would bang.
Not bad, would bang.
Oh yeah, nice fish that though, isn't it? I think
It's definitely different to the other ones.
you can tell the older ones because they've got this sort of a bigger head, haven't they?
How do you feel about catching that?
Huh?
How do you feel about catching that?
They're good. I'm not even putting any bait in. That's on a fucking zing.
How long have the rods been out for?
3 minutes.
No, I mean, how long have you had them out of the water? Good few hours.
Yeah, since about 6 o'clock, I think.
Before that, you left about half
Oh, yeah, I
five.
left here at 5, so maybe since 5 o'clock. And
Excellent.
flicked it back out and had one within 3 minutes. Rest
Splendid.
of the swim, no lines in the water, that's how we do it.
It's not because I've kept mine in all day, fishing all day constantly. I've had 12, 13 bites, I think.
Yeah, but I'm fishing for the biggies.
Clearly the biggies are in your swim because I've only had one like that. 20 kilos coming my way tonight.
Looks bob on for it, doesn't it, if they're in here? Couldn't ask for better conditions. That Connor, let's do a picture.
Yeah, let's get a snap.
Just got set up at the new lake. Needless to say, looking at the size of it, I'm not confident at all. I feel like I'm just fucking chucking it out there and hoping, really. There's nothing more than that. Just chucked into the abyss and hope. Matt's just down there. Right then, this is lake number 5 of the trip. This is 180 acres of big public lake. A well-known one, this one. Loads of people made videos here. However, when we arrived, we did a full lap of the whole 180 acres and we didn't see another carp angler in sight, which was warning sign number 1. Warning sign number 2 was there's been a guy out in a weed boat all day cutting weed, which is also never a good sign because it means that the weeds got to the point where they need to get the boat in to cut it. Everything I've read about this place online suggests that it used to be an absolute mecca in sort of the early 2000s with carp up to £70, and then in 2019 they suffered quite a big drought, and during that drought this 180 acre lake, which has got 3 rivers flowing into it, by the way. I mean, the outflow for it is ridiculous. I've taken a little bit of footage of the outflow. I'll try and drop it in here just so you can see how much water is moving through this lake. But the this whole lake drained down to basically a 3 acre puddle, and there was something like 20 tons of carp that were stuck in this puddle. They had a massive loss of fish there, fish deaths through oxygen crashes and stuff like that, so it's a shadow of its former self. However, there is still meant to be a fair few carp left in here, and some nice ones. As soon as we arrived, we both got into the swims and chucked out a bare lead, and it's absolutely choked with weed to the point where you're virtually pulling for a break every time you chuck out, so we're both very despondent. So we've been here less than 12 hours and we're already planning a move. We've got one night left. We've got a little pond which is close to Calais. I say a little pond, it's probably 40 acres, which is close to Calais, about 45 minutes away. We've stopped on there a few times before. It's just really handy with getting the ferry the next day, so we're probably 7 hours away from there in the car. So we're going to take a big drive back up north. We're going to drop on that lake that we've fished before. It is very low stock again, that lake, but we have had a couple out of it in the past, so you never know, we might get a surprise on the last night. We'll jump on there, and that way we're close enough to Calais, no dramas in the morning getting the ferry home. So the trip is coming to an end, everything's rounding up, but is there one more surprise in store? We'll soon find out, and I'll catch up with you when we're at the final lake. Right, this is the 6th And final lake of the trip. We're going to be going home very shortly. Nothing's happened on this lake, but there was a lot of anglers here when we arrived, which is always a good sign. So this is another one that's definitely on the short list, and one that we'll come back to. Everything online says that this had a fish kill in 2021, and they lost 300 or 400 fish, but there must still be some very, very special fish in here. Every time we come here, there's people here, and they're not just people who live around the corner. There was 2 lads here from Belgium and 1 lad from the Netherlands, and it's the weekend, so they've crossed the border for the weekend to come and fish on here. You don't do that for no reason. So we've seen fish show right out in the middle, as we have done on our previous trips here, and we have caught fish from here in the past to £27. But this is one of those places I've just got an inkling about, that there's 1 or 2 real big ones still left in here from before. It's been a great trip. We've caught loads of fish. This is going to be the nicest day of weather by the looks of it, and it's the day we're going home. It's absolutely bucketed down all week. We've not run into anything massive, but we've been to 6 different lakes, all of which you can do just by buying a carte de pêche, which is €110 at the moment for the licence, and then we've not paid a penny to fish anywhere. We've been to 6 different lakes. We've had a cracking time. We've caught loads of fish between us, and we'll definitely be back again for another go in the future. Everyone who's watched this video, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and hopefully it won't be too much longer before I get another session in and can get another video out there. Over and out, guys. Be lucky.